It is now my pleasure to introduce Carmen Aguirre, who in a few moments will deliver today's convocation address. Born in Santiago, Chile, Carmen has lived quite an adventurous life. Her family fled Chile when she was 6 years old for a better life in Canada, or at least that's what she thought. When Carmen was just 11, her mother informed her at the Los Angeles International Airport that she and her sister weren't taking a vacation as they had been told. Rather, they were headed to South America to join the Chilean resistance against Augusto Pinochet. For the next 10 years, Carmen led a dangerous and secret double life living in Peru, Bolivia, and Argentina. And you'll have to read all about the riveting details yourself in her 2012 Canada Reads award-winning publication entitled Something Fierce, Memoirs of a Revolutionary Daughter. Eventually, Carmen returned safe and sound to Vancouver and enrolled at Langara College, where she graduated from our nationally famous Studio 58's Theatre Arts program. A prolific writer, Carmen has written or co-written 20 plays, and as an actor, she has 30 film and TV credits to her name. In 2006, she won the Grand Jury Prize and the Audience Award at the Sundance Film Festival. She's also been a recipient of the Playwrights Theatre Center Best New Play Award. Carmen created the Latino Theatre Group and has been playwright in residence at a number of theaters across Canada. She's also worked as a theater director, acting teacher, and a Theater of the Oppressed workshop facilitator, working with communities around British Columbia. In fall of 2012, Carmen was honored as a Langara Alumnus of the Year for all of her accomplishments, and thus it is fitting that she be invited to speak at this year's convocation. So please join me in giving a big Langara welcome to Carmen Aguirre.
Thank you very much for inviting me today. It is a great honor to stand before you in this beautiful city we call Vancouver, unceded Coast Salish territory. I graduated from Studio 58, the outstanding theater training program, which is right in the basement of this college. Exactly, yes, I know the studio people know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. I graduated exactly 20 years ago. I was in my mid-20s and absolutely petrified about what the future might hold, thinking that I actually had some control over my future, which of course I didn't. There is only today, and what is happening today. One can only manifest what happens in the future if one is entirely present in the here and now. And the here and now, historically, politically, socially, personally, is an incredible time. We are on the cusp of great changes all over the world, and those changes are being made by young people, right here, right now, in this very country. I came of age in the 1980s when the mantra of the day in mainstream North America was, look out for number one. The idea was that if you looked out for number one, in other words, for yourself and yourself only, you would be a winner. Another big word in the 80s, winner. But I was raised in a family and in a community, the Chilean community in exile, where I was taught the exact opposite values. The value that we were put on this earth to be of service to others, and that in putting oneself at the service of something much greater than oneself, one would find great joy. That putting one's skills and talents at the service of others made one a good, honest, and authentic citizen. That the meaning of winning was not to be found in personal gain, but in creating a society in which everyone would have equal rights and opportunities, regardless of class, race, or gender. And so when I came to Langara to study theater arts, I came with the intention to learn skills that would allow me to be a cultural worker at the service of the community. I had found my calling at the age of 3 when my parents took me to the circus in Patagonia, southern Chile. By the time I started theater school, I had given my youth to the underground Chilean resistance movement, fighting the right-wing Pinochet dictatorship, and I knew all about risk and all about failure, because the revolution we were fighting for had been lost. I had no idea that risk and failure were going to continue to be such a big part of my life, because actor training is all about taking risks, emotional risks, and all about failing as opposed to winning. This is because acting is not about pretending. It's about seeking the truth in every moment. And so I risked, and I failed. I failed so badly over and over again that I almost failed right out of theater school. And even though I made it through in the end, I continued to fail. I didn't get parts. I got horrible reviews. I didn't get recognition from my peers. I didn't make money. I fail all the time, even today. I am most definitely not a winner in the 80s sense of the word, but I followed my calling. I do what I love to do, and I learned to replace fear of the unknown with curiosity. I learned that in order to find your truth, you must risk and fail constantly, because it is only through failing and experimenting that you will continue to learn and grow. Here are a couple of other key things that I've learned. Never take yourself seriously. Always take the work seriously. The first is disastrous. The second, imperative. And the definition of a successful artist, or whatever it is you have chosen to do, is simply someone who insists on doing their work. And in my case, the work that I have chosen to create involves telling the stories of my community, the Chilean community in exile, the Latino community at large, and in that way, I feel that I am serving my community by offering my skills as a storyteller to tell the stories that are rarely, if ever, seen on Canadian stages and read in Canadian books. Stories of poverty, of exile, of despair, of torture, of racism, of oppression, and ultimately, of love. And so what I want to say to you is that no matter what path you've taken, whether you are a physicist, a teacher, a photographer, a journalist, or a cook, know that there is no greater feeling than having the courage to live a life true to yourself and your calling, not the life others expect you to live. That if you are open to the world will be open to you. That there is only today, so seize the day. And that all these things, coupled with putting your hard-earned skills at the service of others for the greater good, will give you more joy than looking out for number one ever could. Remember that history is never over, that you are the history makers, and that history is made by people, and that there is no other time ever in history like right now. You are pioneers, and you are living in an incredible time for this planet, a time in which it is crucial to stop looking out for number one and to see winning as saving this planet from destruction. And so I call on all of you with your skills, with your youth, with your particular journey, to put yourself at the service of this planet in whatever way is meaningful to you, so that we can offer our children, our grandchildren, healthy lives. Remember, you are enough. You are more than enough when you work with others, for this planet, in the here and now, because what matters is what's happening now, what you can continue to do in the moment in order to manifest the future that you want. In closing, I would like to quote from the great 20th century Nobel-winning Indian philosopher and poet, Tagore. I dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. Thank you.